Hello everyone, Storm11 here. Today we'll be doing a live stream. We'll be going very quickly. Let my Twitter followers know that I am live. If this can load, there we go. There we go. And now my Twitter followers know. Alright, so let's talk about this possibly a pretty big winter storm for us. At least for me, and for a lot of other people. Trying to get things set up here really quick. Hello, Weatherman. Appreciated. Alright, so let's talk about this significant ice storm. It's definitely going to be something to watch here, as a lot of you guys know of. If you guys haven't seen my last video, I've mentioned that I'm probably going to be in the middle of it. Well, it seems like I'm also traded a little bit further south, so some of the worst of it may miss me to the south. And I do apologize if the internet cuts out or anything like that. Very typical uh, with these live streams. But let's go ahead and talk about this a little bit. So let's start off with, I think, what's the most accurate model with this. Oh yes, hold on a minute. Sam, did you hear about Cincinnati got expected 10-inch snow? Yeah, I did this morning. I think I said in the last video 3 to 5 inches around Cincinnati. You guys ended up with 10 inches. That's crazy. Yeah, that was just unexpected. I mean, the Timex were there for a pretty good amount of snow up there. So yeah, and good news is you guys may able to get a little bit more snow from this event, which I'll show you guys that now. So we'll start with the high-res NAM here. So the ice really start. You can see here the ice is starting to begin to develop somewhere around northwestern Tennessee and into southwestern Kentucky, southeastern Missouri, and northeastern Arkansas. You're going to see this freeze rain shield expand over time, especially later tonight. You can see here as we get into early Wednesday morning, you got some pockets of moderate icing across portions of Kentucky. You got some light icing across portions of Arkansas and northwestern Tennessee. Meanwhile, on the northern side of this, you got a decent amount of snow going on, which some places around Cincinnati got 10 inches of snow. Well, you guys may be able to get a little bit more snow from this event here. And we're just going to let this play out. You can see here, especially across portions of Kentucky and West Virginia, getting slammed by pockets of heavy freezing rain. And something that I've learned from the National Weather Service, they said that there was a study talking about the heavy freezing rain doesn't accumulate as well on the ground or on the trees and stuff than light freezing rain, which is something interesting to know. So if we do get heavy freezing rain, it isn't really going to be too big of a deal because it's going to have a little bit harder time to accumulate on those trees and stuff like that. Because if you're going to have heavy freezing rain, it's probably going to kind of slide off or whatever off of those trees, and it's not going to be able to accumulate in time. So yeah, that there's some so heavy freezing rain is not completely bad or anything like that, but that's just something interesting I've just learned yesterday. So that's wave number one. Here comes wave number two, which you can see here across portions of Arkansas getting slammed by quite a bit of freezing rain. And southern Kentucky is good about to get slammed by a good amount of freezing rain with this wave. Which you can see here shows a pretty good wave of pockets of heavy freezing rain in some spots there. And it seems like it won't be around for too long, but still a pretty good hit of freezing rain. And then off the screen here, it could be turning into more of a winter storm than an ice storm for the mid-Atlantic regions, which is good news for those guys that don't have to deal with this mess. And let's take a look at these ice amounts here. Now, again, I think this is the most accurate one. There's other models that are underdone, and there's a couple other ones that are overdone with this ice storm. So I'm probably just going to show you maybe this one here. I'll probably show a couple others. And let's take a look at high-res NAM with this. And you can see here, now I don't think 2 inches of ice is not going to happen across portions of Arkansas and northwestern Tennessee. There could also be a decent amount of ice back into central Texas here. So there's going to be a lot of areas getting quite a bit of ice. But I think the main areas to watch relation will be this region here and this region right in here. You got one area for central and northeastern Arkansas into northwestern Tennessee. You got another one for central and eastern Kentucky. These are the areas that may have a better chance of getting quite a bit of ice, at least getting close to the inch mark. And yes, there is a chance that some areas may be able to see an inch of ice out of this. It's a possibility, but it's not a guaranteed either. You can see here by some of these ice amounts, it's going to be a little bit overdone in some of these spots here. But you can see here, these amount of ice could definitely fall out of this significant ice storm here. And yeah, I'm going to be kind of in the middle of it, and that kind of leads me to an announcement. So, depending on the impacts with this ice storm, there's probably a good chance I'm not going to have any power, maybe as early as tomorrow. So, uploads may be delayed for maybe a week, depending on how long my power is going to be out. Now, the bad news with this here is there's going to be very cold air coming in here after this ice storm. Plus, you're going to have some cloudy skies as well. So this ice is not going to go anywhere for a long time. It's going to very, very slowly melt. And that's going to make the effects from this ice storm last for a long time, especially as we get into later next week, which the pattern shows a better chance for winter storm and maybe another ice storm early next week, which I want to talk about that because I may not get it. This may be the only chance I'll be able to talk about that. So let's kind of get into that uh, with the setup early next week because it's definitely looking like a very active setup. So we'll use the European model first. You can see here with that significant ice event, which I was just seeing in the chat there talking about. Praying doesn't hit Tennessee hard. I think the area that's going to get hit hard in Tennessee is going to be northwestern Tennessee. I think the rest of the state should be able to stay mostly out of the ice. Now, the GFS around this time shows possibly a big winter storm around Saturday into Sunday. We're going to see how that's going to play out. Right now, the European model says no. We're not on that. But Monday into Tuesday, we're actually got a little bit better confidence with this. You have a low that is going to be developing in the Gulf Coast states, and this could be an Appalachian runner, and this could be a winter lover's dream across portions of the Ohio Valley into the Tennessee Valley. Bad news with this one here is it brings in some nasty ice, and it shows a nasty ice storm for some of the same areas that could get hit hard by this ice storm later this week. And hopefully this does not happen because if this is correct, I'll get slammed by an ice storm Wednesday and Thursday and then get hit by another ice storm literally a few days later. I do not want that to happen. Now, in my opinion here, I think this is a little bit too far to the west here. From what I've heard by at least by meteorologists here, with this setup here, it's going to be underdoing the Arctic air, so I do expect this to maybe trend a little bit further to the east here. So some of these areas that, showing this heavy freeze rain may actually turn out to be heavy snow, but things can actually change, very likely. You can see here it really starts to become a big low. You can see here quite a bit of snow across portions of Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, and Ohio, and just a major ice storm, if this were to be correct, over a very large region, which I don't think it's going to quite happen with that, but we're going to watch that though. That could be another major system here early next week. And it shows an active pattern, and the European model shows another system a couple days later. So this is going to be a setup where we're going to see multiple systems going over some of these same areas here. So yeah, on that. And I guess take a look at the GFS with this. Wait for it to load. If you guys do have any questions, you can always put in the chat. Oh yeah, by the way, if I could have at least a good internet access on my phone, I mean, we do have a generator, so I'll probably be able to charge my phone. I still won't be able to make uploads because internet may not be good enough. I also probably won't have Wi-Fi, but we'll see. I'll probably be making updates on this ice storm to see how the impacts and how much ice I could get on my Twitter account, which I could probably go ahead and put my Twitter in the chat for you guys. If you guys want to follow me there, if you want to. You can click that link if you want to. You can follow me on there. That's where I'm mostly going to be active. I'm usually more active on there than here on YouTube. So, wait for this to load a little bit. The internet is not doing great, as always. So, seems like the GFS, at least the good news is, it's downtrending the uh, lesser amounts of the ice, which hopefully that's gonna be correct. But I'm not gonna buy that right now. But you can see here, it actually could backed off nearly completely, but you can see our system could come up on Saturday and the Sunday later this week. And then your big one may come up Monday into Tuesday, which I think this is probably the most accurate look right now. This is nearly exactly what I'm thinking here. A little bit further to the east here, bringing in a pretty good amount of snow across portions of the Ohio Valley. And it could be another major ice storm for some other areas as well. There's no way I'm going to get hit hard by two ice storms in just about a week. That would be very miserable if that were to happen. And you see here how the active pattern just continues with this here. And you can see here kind of the 7 to 10 day period, which we're getting extremely far out. It shows another system there, but that's way too far out. That's likely going to change. But this gives you an indication that this is a very active pattern for the eastern United States here. Uh, let's take a look to those alerts here. That's something I never mentioned yet, the alerts here. So let's see here. Oh yeah, I'm actually interested to see what the 24-hour ice amounts are going to be. Now this is just in the next 24 hours from the National Weather Service. You can see there could be a decent amount of ice across portions of Kentucky. This is probably going to update some more, but southern Missouri could see a decent amount of ice. Same way for eastern Oklahoma. Keep in mind, this is just for the next 24 hours. This does not go for the entire event, but a decent amount, a decent amount of ice could definitely fall in the next 24 hours here. So let's take a look at the observations, actually forecast. National Weather Service hazards. Alright, so let's talk about these hazards here. So if anybody's in this dark purple here, this is a ice storm warning, which has been many years since some of these National Weather Service offices have issued a ice storm warning. It's been a long time. And you also got these areas here in this dark blue. These are winter storm watches. In areas in the purple, these are winter weather advisories. Some of them are for ice, and some of them are going to be a little bit more for snow. But yeah, areas in the purple here will be the areas to watch for quite a bit of ice accumulations here, which this can change around some more as well. So really, the big cities to watch would be like Lexington, Danville here, Somerset, and London, Paducah. Getting close to Arkansas, Little Rock there. We're gonna watch for that. Memphis, this may miss you to the north. It's right around Pikeville as well. And Charleston, West Virginia, I believe is about right there. It'd also be the cities to watch for this ice here. And there could be a decent amount of ice. And let me show you guys my ice forecast. Now, this is probably not going to be 100% correct, but this is the ice forecast right now. In areas in the pink here, really portions of Kentucky, what southwestern Kentucky, and eventually getting into northeastern Arkansas. These are some places I'm able to get to a half an inch to possibly as high as an inch of ice. Some areas, isolated areas, may be able to reach an inch of ice, which would be very significant if you're going to reach to an inch of ice, which hopefully we won't see that. But really the areas to watch for any significant icing. I mean, areas in the red and the pink colors, those will be the areas to watch for some significant icing. I mean, orange, you can still get quite a bit of icing, but the impacts won't be as bad for areas in the red and purple. I'm at pink. And areas in the yellow and green, not too big of a deal. However, those roads will likely be slick in some of those regions as well. So that'll be so if you're going to be traveling in really any of these regions, those roads are likely going to be slick as well. So, but some of the significant impacts will be areas in the red and the pink. And those areas have a better chance of getting some power outages and down trees and stuff like that. Yes, there is a chance for an inch of ice. Very isolated areas could possibly see an inch of ice. It's a possibility. It's currently on the table as of right now. Some of these areas could possibly see an inch of ice. And I think the better opportunity to get an inch of ice would be places like in northeastern Arkansas. Another region will be these regions in there, where some of them also are kind of trending to a little bit higher amounts. Do you think Campbell County in Tennessee get ice? Uh, you guys could possibly see a little bit of ice, but it should not be really significant or anything like that. Why can't we see Dallas? I'm not really forecasting for Texas, but you guys can possibly see maybe a 0.05 to a tenth of an inch of ice, so you guys could see some ice down around Texas as well in some of those regions. But these would be the areas to watch as of right now. Would be areas in the pink and in the red. So again, if you guys do have any questions, you guys could go ahead and put in the chat. So again, here's your hazards. Areas of purple, winter storm warnings, which I'm pretty sure ice storm warnings are for a quarter of inch of ice or more, if I'm correct. Eastern Panhandle of West Virginia going to get anything? The Eastern Panhandle. Oh, I don't think you guys won't see much of any ice, but you guys could possibly see quite a bit of snow, which we should probably get into the snowy side of things with this system. So let's move to the Mid-Atlantic region with the high-res NAM. And let's take a look at the snowfall in Coachella. Is a tenth of an inch of ice dangerous? Not really. It really isn't. The dangerous ice is where you start to get to a quarter of an inch, half an inch to an inch. That's where you kind of get into some of the dangerous stuff. Alright, I need to take off this ad here. Alright, let's see what the high-res NAM. This is the first time I'm looking into the high-res NAM with this snowfall. So, yeah, some of those higher elevations across northwestern Virginia, eastern West Virginia, and western Maryland into portions of Pennsylvania, those higher elevations could likely see several inches of snow, but in those lower elevations, could see at least a couple inches of snow as well. Generally 1 to 3 inches, and probably some of these lower elevations, isolated 4 amounts as well. Looking back across off the screen there, Illinois, portions of Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio could possibly see 1 to 3 inches of snow as well. And that's just looking from the Harvest NAM. Let's take a look to some other models with this. So let's look into the NAM next. These are freshly new runs, so yeah. So this is the NAM here for snowfall. Definitely a little bit interesting here. Man, once it gave me 3 inches of snow. Hopefully that happens. Well, that's what I've been getting most of this winter. 3 inches of snow. It's been very common for me this winter. But anyways, so it's a pretty good swath of snow. This is probably gonna be overdone. It's got a pretty good swath of 5 to 8 inches of snow in some of these regions, but I guarantee you those higher elevations will have a better chance of seeing some of these snowfall amounts than the lower elevations. Let's take a look to another model. Let's actually take a look to the HER model with this. So, take a look at the HER model. Yeah, it's similar to what the HARS NAM is showing. Yeah, those higher elevations, possibly. We'll just say the higher elevations, 5 to 8 inches. Lower elevations, probably 1 to 4, probably some 3 to 5 inches here and there as well. So those higher elevations in some of these regions here will likely see a winter storm. Even there's a chance of winter storm conditions for those lower elevations as well. So these amounts though could be coming for some of those regions there, and there could be more coming soon. Yeah, this is just a very active pattern here. And why not take a look into the temperatures? Yeah, let's actually take a look at those temperatures because this is going to be the last time. This could be the last I will see you guys for a while here. So I may be able to try to push out a video something tomorrow, but we'll see. Currently not planning to, but maybe. We'll see. Uh, what do I want to use? Let's actually go to a national view. Because it's not just going to be happening in Ohio Valley. It's going to be over a large area. And let's take a look to the temperatures by the GFS. Yeah, around Montana, North Dakota, Minnesota, it is very cold up there. For what I've heard, they had high lows in the -20s and wind chills. And nasty. That's just brutal cold air up there. That's brutal. It's also it's deadly cold air too, to say the least. I mean, you could get a frostbite in just 10 minutes. It's just that cold. And it looks like it's going to get worse over time here. And it could get really cold, possibly down in Texas. Now, I don't think it's going to get this cold. I mean, negative temperatures in Texas, I don't think that's going to happen, but 20s are likely, maybe some teens in some spots. But it's likely going to be very cold for Texas. And this cold air mass, this Arctic air mass, is going to be sticking around for a while, is what it looks like. Yeah, it seems like the GFS says around the 10-day period it actually should get out here, so it's going to be around for a while. And adding on top of that, you got a southeast ridge going on across the southeast here, which these guys will be getting multiple rounds of rain. It's also going to be nice, mild weather down there, too. And with the southeast ridge here, it's going to create a bigger risk for some more ice storms. I mean, you're going to get an active track here where you have lows coming down this way here, and with this cold air behind it, with a southeast ridge here, you have your low come up like this way, and somewhere in that zone, there's going to be an area of freezing rain, which could be an ice storm. Somewhere right in there. And that's something nobody wants. You don't want to fool around with ice storms. And why not just take a look at the wind chills? These are likely to be overdone. I know it. But it's been kind of crazy how consistent the GFS has been, though. 18 degrees at Colorado Springs. Pretty cold over there, too. -7. Jeez. Eventually, I may get that weather early next week. I believe one of my chief meteor meteorologists, local weather station, showing -5 for a low, like Tuesday in central Kentucky. That's Pretty darn cold. And I may just say virtual learning for school just for the cold weather. It rarely happens here, but it has happened before where you have no school just due to very cold weather. Yeah, man, -50 for a wind chill. Yeah, it's gonna be overdone. But these places have experienced -40 wind chills, for at least what I've heard. -20 wind chills for Texas. Oh man, and around mine area, negatives. Yeah, not gonna be fun. Let's actually take a look to the Climate Prediction Center's outlook here. So let's take a look to their probability outlook for the next 8 to 14 days. My bad. What's this area they have down here? I wonder. What's that? Cycles of heavy precipitation. Okay. So yeah, the areas in the blue and dark blue, yeah, you got a pretty good probability of getting well below average temperatures, which it shows it right here. The 17th through the 19th, it's going to be sticking around for a while. So that's their probability outlook. Let's look at to their actual outlook here. 6 to 10. Well, let's actually get to a more national view. Yep, pretty good percentages for below average temperatures there. Precipitation looking very active for the east and for the northwest, apparently. Uh, 8 to 14 days, near pretty much the same thing. Let's get to 8 to 14 day with temperatures. And looks like they're finally backing off with the percentages. That's a good sign. Whew, very cold. February for sure. Haven't seen anything like this in years. It's been a while. Especially for an ice storm. The last time I had an ice storm was back in 2009. And before that, 2003. And both of those got me a half an inch to an inch of ice. Which, that's what's currently forecasted, at least for myself, of putting into a half an inch to an inch of ice. And the impacts were bad. I had no power for at least a week. So that's probably what I'm going to expect for this one. May not have any power for a week. And what's make things even worse, again, going to have very cold temperatures like I just showed you for the GFS. Single digit lows overnight with teens for highs for a couple days. So that ice is not going to go anywhere. Plus, there's not going to be much of any sun to melt the ice. So this ice is just going to be sticking around here for a long time. For me, at least. But hopefully I don't get hit by a second ice storm early next week, which a couple of malls have been hinting on that for my area, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's never happened before. Get two ice storms in a week. I don't think that's happened before. It's for at least a while, I know. But yeah, I think that's about it. Do you guys have any other questions you want to ask me? This is probably going to be the last time I'll be seeing you guys for a while because of this ice storm that's going to be hitting me beginning, which I think, let me look on here to radar scope. Under a blizzard warning in 2019, almost lost power. Man, must be rough. Because I remember last time looking on radar, there was precipitation going on. Yeah, you have some waves of possibly some freezing rain. Let's see what these reports show. Drizzle, freezing drizzle. Alright. So this one here was not long ago. And this one was not long ago either. So this kind of gives you an indication of lift here when you have kind of waves like this. So there's going to be a lot of lift here for precipitation and stuff like that. And we're going to likely see this become more widespread overnight tonight. And I do expect in the morning, at least for me, probably experience some freezing rain, which I'll probably put some updates on Twitter, which I did put a link in the chat not long ago. So, yeah, it's probably going to be a little bit of a rough ride for me, especially when my local Walmart ran out of milk and bread. That's just funny. I learned that at school earlier today. People said that my local Walmart ran out of milk and bread. Not surprised. Yep. At least I got a Kroger though, but I'm sure they're out too. A little bit rough. Looks like you guys do not have any other questions, so I'm going to end it here. Hopefully, you guys did enjoy this live stream. If you guys are watching this video, if you want to ask any questions, you can put it in the comment section down below. If you guys do like this live stream, hit that like button. If you really do like my channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload. And I'll see you guys probably in about a week or so. Who knows? Uh, for, for YouTube, I'll let you guys know when I'll be back here sometime on Twitter when I'll be able to upload stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one.